Yeah, Alex, feel like I got to start with the defensive pressure that y'all put on with the defensive front. The varying angles, players, things like that. Was that ideal for you going into this game?
No, it was, and I think we've talked about the disruption up front. I think in some ways it's been kind of been a steady build. I think part of it, what happens is, are you okay with just getting there once, and then it kind of becomes that I don't know, feeding off of each other, maybe the name of friendly competition, even that name the player, but Nick Benito gets production while and I got to go get mine, type of mentality. And so, no, when you can be as disruptive in the front as we were tonight, obviously it doesn't get much more ideal than that. And was pleased with one, the numbers, and then number two, which I haven't seen all of those, but certainly though we had our fair share. And then to your point, it wasn't just circle one guy that had that impact. And so that's something that certainly thrilled about.
Appreciate it, Alex.
Jason Kersey.
Hey, Alex, what went into, I mean, I guess, what did David Agwegbu do this week in practice to earn the start over a guy in Deshaun White who's been starting for you for a long time?
Yeah, Deshaun's been a little bit banged up, and so that's just something that one credit goes to David, to give us that opportunity. But that's just something as much as anything, a little bit from an injury standpoint, and combined with David playing at a higher and higher level. And so no, that's a good thing when someone goes off the field last Saturday night and is a little bit limited over the course of the week of preparation. Then you have and what's available to you is someone that we think is equally aptable in terms of being a starter for us. So he continues to get better.
James Hale.
Alex, you had a great night, as you pointed out. You talked about your pass rush, but so many different guys, and so many different guys are contributing. The depth that you've always wanted to develop looks like, or it seems like, is really coming on for you.
Well, certainly in our front. I mean, I think we mentioned it maybe this last week or at one point talking. We're not having a lot of conversations on the sideline as to who's in the game at that particular time, and whether it's a third down situation or even just a normal down situation. That certainly is nice and something that you'd like to have at 11 spots, and maybe you never do, but certainly right now we were getting that production in our front. And the thing I would highlight with them as much as anything, one of the and might be the biggest maybe positive as I look at the last couple of weeks, is just the increased consistency of it. We've seen it at times, and again, specific to this year, or maybe in spurts through a couple quarters, and what done a better job of is these guys being more consistent in that, able to do it, through the duration of a game. And so that's something that's obviously got to continue.
Thanks, Alex.
Brandon Drum.
Hey, Alex. Just out of curiosity, last year you guys put a lot of emphasis on these turnovers. This year they're happening for you guys. Is it because of the pass rush? Is it because of the pressure up front? Is it because the people are making plays? I asked Lincoln the same. He says these people are just taking advantage of the situation. What's your overall thought on that?
Yeah, I think that would be, the chief thing that's maybe a little bit different is the opportunities have presented themselves, a number of times this year. And I think back to certain games where, we got two hands on the football, we don't come down with it. And so, is there one specific thing? I don't know that it is. I hope maybe, losing a couple games that we fell short in turnover margin, maybe that's a little bit of a wake up that when we say takeaways equal victory, because they did for our opponents. Right. And so I think 27 of the last 28 games in the NFL, either tied or winning turnover margin is the chief predictor of success. And so, maybe, just maybe, we had to learn some hard lessons as to the impact. maybe not get saved by an offense when we didn't get takeaways to maybe drive a little bit of the point home. But again, what you get tonight, 2 weeks from now, you got to go do it again. And so that's I would say another thing that our guys are coming to maybe grips with a little bit is you don't get credit for what you do on Tuesday. If you had a takeaway 3 weeks ago, you got to do it again on each and every Saturday. And there's still more out there. I mean, you see just like I see it, loose balls and some of those things, and it's going to have a major impact how we finish the season.
Let's go to John Hoover.
Yeah. Hey, Alex. Congrats on the win. I'm wondering if the addition of Ronnie Perkins, right? He comes back. He's got all that ability. Can you describe how he changes maybe blocking schemes and how he frees things up for other guys, maybe on the other side of the line of scrimmage or pressure inside?
Well, it does. I mean, any time that you can not get a defense cut in half in that from an offensive perspective, you kind of can say, okay, as long as we handle this side of a defense, maybe in a pass rush, for instance, then our success rate in the pass game is going to go up. And so what I mean by that is, you're going to have to block all four up front. Obviously, there's always the threat of pressure. You're going to have to make a decision where you think you can get it done with your five, because what you see in college football so much now is it used to be not commonplace to always get five guys out in routes. The back would stay in 6-man protections and those things. Well, college football these days, it's tough to talk an offense into consistently keeping 6 in to protect the quarterback, which means you got to defend 5. You go through the numbers game and you're defending 5 in coverage. It can put some stress on some of the things that you coverage wise. Which means what? If you can get pressure with 4. And then the numbers game kind of goes back in your favor, or at least gives you a chance to kind of equate some of those things. And so, not being able to split a defensive half, like I mentioned, is a critical thing. And I think there's certainly a respect factor for him coming off the edge. And one weekend we don't have that disruption in our front. We're going to have a different conversation after at the end of the game. And so that's something we're going to continue to work to do.
Kerry Murdoch.
Hey, Alex, one of the things that you're getting this year, especially the past couple of games, is your offense is putting so much pressure on other teams that they're having to go for it on 4th down. Can you just talk about, I know you're also getting the turnovers, but you're also, executing, 4th down stops at a really high rate right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that is always kind of in the back of your head. I mean, in terms of, obviously 3rd downs, key downs, and especially when they get it, somewhere in the vicinity of midfield. I don't remember the exact yardage on the one tonight. Obviously, that was in their field zone, which is obviously a little bit more rare. But in any event, no, and that's something that you constantly are thinking about. Okay, they're probably in 4th down territory because they have to be, as opposed to if we get the stop, they're obviously going to like to kick some type of kicking play after that, which, part of that goes in your thought process. How can we create a negative play on 3rd down? That's pressure. It's easy to say. What you don't want to do from a call standpoint is you don't want to, it's not overly easy to say, well, if we call this, we're going to get a negative play. I mean, there's obviously factors that go into it, but that is part of your process. If you play drop 8 and you play soft coverage and they get a 9-yard gain on 3rd and 12, what did we just buy? Possibility of a 4th down situation. And so, no, that absolutely factors in.
Thanks, Alex.
I think that was me, but Alex, I asked Lincoln this. Your line, the sidelines are so engaged late in these games, last week and this week when the games are out of hand. What does that say about these guys in this group?
Well, I think you see a team that it is getting closer and closer. What is probably naive on everybody's part is because everybody's dealing with the pandemic, so everyone's dealing with it. So that just simply means that you just go figure it out as coaches and as players. But there's a real reason you have off seasons. You know, and if we didn't think there were reasons, we found out, and everybody's finding out why we do, you know, so much of the stuff that we do together as a team is as simple as, you know, the you know, winter workouts, you know, and being in the weight room together and you know, all those things. And so, you know, this year, just, you know, the circumstances created one for all of us where you're building a team kind of during the season. Which is a little bit obviously different. Maybe we may never have to do this again, but I think you're seeing that a little bit. You know, you like to think you're always there. No, we were a team 6 weeks ago, 7, and to a point you were, but no, I think that's constantly growing. I absolutely do. You know, you add new pieces and all those things, and so that because I agree with you. I think the energy on the sideline has been good, and guys rooting for each other and all those things, and so no, that's something that's got to continue.
Thanks, Alex.
Ryan Aber.
Yeah, Alex, we saw you use a couple of freshman linebackers relatively early in the game in Shane Witter and Brennan Walker. What have you liked about what those two guys are doing entering this week, and what do you think of their performance tonight?
Yeah, just practicing better, and you know, Brendan is a guy that has really flashed in a lot of ways in practice, and you know, and it's a trust element of things, you know, and part of it is who you're taking off the field to get that individual in. For instance, in Brendan's case, you got, you know, Nick Benito, you got John Michael Terry, and so we're going to take them off to put Brendan in. Well, that's a lot of pressure on Brendan to practice a certain way that we're going to do those things, and some of it's just the force feeding. We got to do that. We got to keep kind of, you know, pushing the envelope in terms of those young guys in our program, because they're never going to be ready if we don't continue to get them ready. And in Witter's case, you know, was one of those individuals that again, what wasn't with us for a stretch of time in a very developmental, critical developmental stage in terms of getting ready for this season. And so just a guy that's been available, but been practicing, keep working. I thought he flashed tonight. Couldn't be more thrilled for him. And again, thrilled for us to see him. You know, he made that play on that fourth down scenario. And that's that. And quite frankly, that's not a play we practiced. It wasn't, I mean, defensively it was, but not, we didn't anticipate speed option. He's a backside backer, you know, and oh, by the way, he just runs over there and puts a lick on him. So that's good. And, again, and part of it's the message to all those guys. You practice the right way, we'll put you on the field.
Appreciate it, Alex.
James Hale.
You know, Alex, early in the year, it was frustrating. You were frustrated that your guys didn't catch a lot of interceptions, didn't make and finish plays that way. But boy, over the last couple of days, they're catching the ball, they're making plays, they're jumping on opportunities in the secondary. Buki had a couple of today. That's a positive step for your defense, isn't it?
Well, it is, and you know, some of that's just the. We talk about eye control. One of the things we talked about, in fact, this week, and believe me, it's not because I mentioned it that they did it, but you know, eye control on, you know, in zone coverage, you're looking at the quarterback and he's going to take you to your play. Okay, that's critical. Eye control on your receiver when you're in man coverage, that's critical. But eye control also when the ball's in the air, eye control on the football. You know, to snap your eyes in critical situations. I'm in man coverage. I'm at the you know, reception point. The ball is coming. I snap my eyes back for the football. Not you know, I'm surprised by the ball. That's the whole reason I covered the guy, was hoping that they would throw it my way. Same thing in zone coverage. I'm not just a cone. I'm not just a space eater out there. You know, I'm there to make the play when the ball's ultimately thrown somewhere in the vicinity of my zone. And so that's just something that I think the guys are you know, doing a better job of. Some of it might be from a confidence standpoint, which you know, obviously plays into so many things. And so I'm thrilled for them that you know, they're getting some of the production that they're working towards.
Thanks,
Okay,
Alex.
time for one more question. Let's go back to John Hoover.
Sorry, Alex, I just wanted to ask a follow-up about Ronnie. Does he get guys to play better? Does he exhort players around him beyond just the one-on-one blocking schemes? Does he actually get them to play harder?
Yeah, I think you know, you know, some of that stuff is infectious. It just is. You know, whether it's, you know, talking about the secondary and this guy makes an interception, I think that's there's something to that as well. It's the same thing when you see some physical play. You know, when the guy next to you is playing physical, then all of a sudden that becomes the expectation. Obviously, you want more than one guy doing it and all those things. But I think certainly in Ronnie's case, you know, it creates the standard for how it should be done. And what happens when you turn on the video, it becomes real self-evident. When one guy's, playing at this speed and everyone else is playing at this speed, you got, if you're a competitor at all, you're going to say, well, I need to raise my game because I want to look like that guy. And like I continue to mention, in best case scenario, we're talking about 11 different guys in all those different realms, whether it's in the linebacker, room. You think about it a year ago, like, man, we look awfully slow next to Kenneth Murray, for real reasons. But in any event, same thing, the secondary and all those, but specific to the front, all of a sudden that becomes a standard. And if you don't look like that, man, do you look like a slow football player, which you never want to be accused of. And so, no, that is good because I do. Nick Benito getting 3 sacks tonight. I hope he would thank Ronnie for some of that too.
Thanks, Alex.
All right. Thanks, Alex. That's all for tonight.
Okay, thank you guys.